1. Introduction. My name is Serena. I was a new teacher at Rosewood College. I was 28 years old. This was my first job teaching literature at a college. I felt excited, but also a little nervous. I wanted to do a very good job. I was the youngest teacher in my department, and I hoped to show everyone that I was a professional. I planned to work hard and teach my students well. On my first day, I walked into the classroom. The room was large, and many students were already sitting in their chairs. I looked at all the new faces. They were waiting for the class to begin. I took a deep breath and stood at the front of the room. I started to introduce myself and explain the course. Most students looked at me with polite interest. They seemed ready to learn. However, one student caught my eye. He sat near the back of the room. His name was David. He was 21 years old. He was tall and his hair was dark. He had clear, sharp eyes. When he smiled, it was a confident smile. David did not look at me like the other students. He looked at me with a different kind of interest. It felt like he wanted to know more about me, not just about the class. His gaze was strong and direct. This feeling was new and unexpected. I tried to ignore it. I told myself, he is a student and I am his teacher. This was a clear rule. Teachers and students have a professional relationship. It must stay professional. But David's eyes made me feel something different. My heart started to beat a little faster. It was a strange feeling to have on my first day. I knew this feeling was wrong. It was a forbidden attraction. I was a teacher, and he was my student. I had to keep a professional distance. I had to focus on my job. My career was important to me. I wanted to be a good teacher. I wanted to set a good example. I tried to push these thoughts about David away. I tried to focus only on my lesson plans and the books we would read. But it was difficult. His image stayed in my mind. His strong gaze from the back of the room was hard to forget. I knew this job would be harder than I first thought. 2. A dangerous start. In the weeks after, David often stayed after class. Other students left, but David waited. He asked questions about the lessons, but his eyes told a different story. They showed a special interest. Sometimes he called me Miss Serena with a smile. This small action made my face feel warm. I knew I should keep my distance. He was my student. But his attention was strong and hard to ignore. One afternoon, everyone left the classroom. David stayed. He walked to my desk and leaned against it. He looked at me with his dark eyes. "You're not like the other teachers," he said. His voice was quiet, but it was also daring. It was a compliment, but it felt risky. My heart began to beat faster. I felt a mix of worry and excitement. I knew I had to stop him. "David, you must go now," I said. My voice was not steady. It shook a little. He smiled again, a small, knowing smile. He did not move for a moment. Then he left the room. I sat alone at my desk. The classroom was quiet, but my mind was not. I thought about David's words. "You're not like the other teachers." Why did he say that? What did it mean? And why did his words make me feel so strange? That night, I could not stop thinking about him. His face, his smile, his daring voice filled my thoughts. I knew it was wrong. He was my student. I was his teacher. But I felt a strong pull. Part of me was nervous about this feeling. It felt dangerous. But another part of me was also interested. This was a new and powerful feeling. It was a dangerous start to something I did not understand. 3. Crossing a line, our conversations slowly changed. They went from school topics to more personal subjects. It began with quick glances in class that lasted a bit too long. Then, homework questions sent by text message turned into long chats late at night. David would tell me about his hopes for the future, his family, and his feelings of being alone sometimes. I listened carefully. I found myself sharing things about my own life too. These late-night talks became a regular part of my day. I looked forward to them, even though I knew this was not professional. I told myself I was just trying to understand my student better, but I knew it was becoming something more. The conversations made my heart feel warm, but also worried. I knew I should stop them, but I did not. One afternoon, the weather was very bad. Rain fell heavily outside the college. The sky was dark, even though it was only the middle of the day. During my literature class, the lights suddenly went out. The room became dark. The power had failed. The head of the department quickly told all students to leave early because of the outage. Everyone started to pack their bags and leave. Soon, the classroom was almost empty. I began to put my books away, thinking I was alone. But then I saw David still sitting at his desk in the back. He did not move. He just watched me. The room was very quiet now, with only the sound of the rain hitting the windows. David slowly stood up. He walked towards my desk. My heart started to beat faster, a nervous rhythm against my ribs. I did not know what to say or do. He stopped in front of me, just a few steps away. The air felt heavy between us. We looked at each other for a long moment, our eyes meeting in the dim light. Then he moved a little closer. He reached out his hand and gently touched mine. His touch was soft, but it felt strong and certain. A strange feeling went through my body, a mix of excitement and fear. I knew this was wrong. I knew I should pull my hand away immediately. But I did not. I stayed still, frozen in the moment. My mind was racing with thoughts of rules and consequences, but my body did not move. In that quiet, dark room, with his hand on mine, the clear line between teacher and student disappeared. It was a moment of no return. We had crossed a boundary. I felt a mix of intense fear and a strange kind of peace. Everything had changed in that one moment. for our secret. From that day, everything changed for Serena and David. They had crossed a line, and now they had a secret. In class, they acted like a normal teacher and student. Serena taught lessons, and David listened. They did not look at each other too much. They did not speak extra words. But outside the classroom, their secret life began. They started to meet in hidden places. These were quiet corners of the college building after most people left. Sometimes they met in empty halls. One time, they met in Serena's car in the college parking lot, far away from the main entrance. They had to be very careful. If anyone saw them together, it would be a big problem. Serena could lose her job. David could also face trouble. The risk was very high, but for Serena, the risk felt worth it. Every time she saw David, her heart felt happy. Being with him was exciting. It was a new feeling, a feeling she had never known before. David felt the same. He often called Serena late at night. He said he could not stop thinking about her. He wanted to hear her voice. He wanted to talk about his day and listen to her day. Serena also could not stop thinking about David. His calls made her feel special. Their talks became longer and more personal. They learned more about each other. David shared his dreams for the future. He talked about his family and his feelings. Serena listened carefully. She also shared parts of her life. She told him about her own dreams and her hopes. She knew this was dangerous, but she could not stop. The connection between them grew stronger every day. Serena told herself that this secret relationship was temporary. She thought it would end soon. It was just a short time, she thought, but deep in her heart, she did not want it to end. She liked the excitement. She liked David's attention. She liked their secret talks and meetings. Their feelings for each other became deeper. They spent more and more time thinking about each other. It was consuming their thoughts. This secret was becoming a very big part of their lives. They knew it was wrong, but they could not stop. The world outside their secret felt less important. Only their time together truly mattered now. They hoped no one would ever find out about their secret. 5. People talk. People started to notice things. It was a slow change at first. Students watched us more closely. I felt their eyes on me when David and I talked, even about schoolwork. One day, a student spoke to me. She said she saw David leaving my office late one evening. I quickly said he was asking about an assignment, but her eyes looked doubtful. Then, other teachers began to ask questions. One afternoon, a colleague stopped me in the hall. He smiled and asked if I was close to David. I felt my face get hot. I tried to act normal, saying David was a good student, but I knew what he meant. He had seen something or heard something. Soon, whispers started. Small talks in the staff room stopped when I walked in. Students looked at me and then at each other. Rumors began to spread around the college. They moved fast, like a small fire growing bigger. I felt nervous all the time. Every look, every question felt like a threat. Our secret was not so secret anymore. David also changed. He became more careful in public, but also more demanding in private. He did not like it when I talked to other male teachers. One day, I was talking to Mr. Evans about a new book. David saw us. His face became dark. After class that day, David waited for me. When the last student left, he closed the door loudly. The sound made me jump. He looked at me with sharp eyes. "Are you seeing someone else?" he asked. His voice was not soft. It was strong and full of anger. I quickly told him no. I said he was wrong, but his jealousy was clear. It made me feel scared. What if he did something reckless? What if his feelings became too big to control? But also, a part of me felt a strange excitement. His strong feelings showed how much he cared. Our secret world, which once felt safe and exciting, was now very dangerous. The risk was growing every day. We could not hide our connection much longer. The college felt like a place where everyone watched and everyone talked. The danger of our secret was now very real. 6. A big problem. One afternoon, a message came. It was from the head of the department, Ms. Davies. She asked me to come to her office. My heart felt heavy. I knew something was wrong. My secret with David had been dangerous for a long time. Now it felt like the danger was very close. I walked to her office. The door was open. Ms. Davies sat behind her big desk. Her face was serious. She did not smile. She asked me to sit down. My hands felt cold. She held an email printout in her hand. She placed it on the desk. My eyes saw pictures on the paper. They were pictures of me and David. We were talking closely in my car. My stomach dropped. I knew these pictures were true. MS. Davies spoke in a low, firm voice. "Serena," she said, "someone sent this anonymous email. It shows you and David. This is very serious. This kind of relationship is not allowed here. If this is true, you will face big problems. Your job could be in danger." I tried to speak. My voice felt stuck. I said, "I do not understand." But I did understand. I understood everything. I felt a cold fear. My career, my future, everything I worked for could be lost. I left her office feeling very shaken. The college felt different. It felt like everyone was watching me. I needed to talk to David. I found him later that day. I showed him the pictures. He looked at them. His face became pale. I asked him, "Who did this? Did you tell someone?" He said no very quickly. But his eyes looked away. He looked guilty. I pressed him. "David, tell me the truth. This is very important." That night he called me. He sounded sad. He finally told me. "It was my ex-girlfriend," he said. "She found out about us. She was very angry. She followed us. She took those pictures. She wanted to hurt you. She wanted to hurt me too." My mind raced. His ex-girlfriend, she hated me. She wanted revenge. This was a big problem, a very big problem. The danger was not just rumors anymore. It was real proof. My job was truly on the line. 7. Everything falls apart. The formal investigation started quickly. I received a letter from the college. The letter said I was suspended from my job. This meant I could not teach any classes. I could not even go to the college campus. It was a very difficult time for me. My future as a teacher was now unclear. Every day felt long and full of worry. My life felt like it was paused, waiting for a bad ending. News of the investigation spread around the college very fast. My name became known for the wrong reasons. People talked about me everywhere. Students and other teachers looked at me differently now. When I walked near the college, I heard students whispering. Some of them even called me the scandal teacher. My good reputation was completely ruined. It felt very bad and made me feel ashamed. I felt alone in this big problem. All my hard work seemed to be for nothing. David called me often during these days. He wanted to meet and talk. One evening, he came to my apartment. He looked very upset and worried. He held my hands tightly. "We can leave this place, Serena," he said with urgency. "Let's run away together. We don't need them or their rules." His eyes were wide and wild. They showed a strong mix of love and anger at the situation. He spoke about starting a new life somewhere far away. He wanted us to be together, just the two of us, away from all the problems. He believed in our love very strongly. I listened to David's plan. His words were tempting for a moment. The idea of escaping felt good, but I knew it was not a real solution. I was not a student like him. I had a career that I worked hard to build. I had spent many years studying and preparing for this job. I had dreams for my future as a teacher. I could not just throw everything away because of this difficult situation. "No, David," I said slowly, trying to be gentle. "I cannot do that." My voice was soft but very firm. His face changed immediately. The bright light in his eyes disappeared. He looked at me with deep sadness. He felt hurt by my words. He felt betrayed. "You don't love me enough to leave everything," he said, his voice low and full of pain. I tried to explain my feelings again. I told him it was about my life, my choices, and my job, but he did not want to listen to my reasons. He could only see my refusal. Our disagreement was very painful. It was the first time we had such a big fight. He left my apartment feeling angry and heartbroken. I sat alone, feeling the heavy weight of my choice. Everything was truly falling apart, not just my job, but also our relationship. 8. The final lesson. The college made its final decision. I officially lost my teaching job. My time at Rosewood College was over. It was a difficult day for me. everything I had worked for was gone in a moment. My career as a teacher had ended. I felt a deep sadness and regret. I knew this was the result of my choices. David also left the college soon after. He did not return to his classes. Our paths, which had crossed so closely, now moved apart. We both faced new, unknown futures. We decided to meet one last time. It was a cold evening by the river. The air was still and quiet around us. We stood together for a moment, not speaking many words. He took my hand. His touch was soft and familiar. He looked at me with sad eyes. "You changed my life," he said in a low voice. I looked back at him. My own voice was quiet. "And you changed mine," I replied. We remembered our secret times. We remembered the risks we took. We remembered the feelings we shared. It was hard to say goodbye, but we both knew it had to happen. Our time together was finished. We walked away from each other, going in different directions. Our lives would be very different now. I often thought about everything that happened. I thought about the choices I made. I was a teacher. He was my student. Our relationship was wrong. It brought many problems. I lost my job. My good name was damaged at the college. David's future was also affected. It was a difficult lesson to learn. I understood the serious results of my actions. I had to face them now. I had to build a new life for myself. I would carry this experience with me always. It taught me important things about rules and responsibility. It taught me about the price of certain decisions. I learned that some lines should never be crossed. This was the final lesson. It was a hard one, but I would remember it always. I hoped David would also learn from it. We both needed to move forward. Our story was over.